My fiancé's family sued me for breach of promise after I called off the wedding. I said, "See you in court." Then my lawyer presented text messages where she admitted to cheating. Her family's case collapsed, and they had to pay my legal fees. Her humiliation when the judge ruled in my favor. I, 29 male, called off my wedding 3 weeks before the date. My fiancée, 27, was cheating on me. Her family sued me for breach of promise to marry. They're about to regret that decision. We were together for 3 years, engaged for 8 months. Wedding was supposed to be this month. Big expensive thing. Her family went all out. Her dad's pretty well off, owns some kind of manufacturing business. They paid for most of it up front. Venue, caterer, photographer, the works. I found out she was cheating 2 months ago. Not through some dramatic confrontation or catching her in the act. Through text messages I saw by complete accident. Her phone was charging on the kitchen counter. She was in the shower. It lit up with a notification. I glanced over, saw a message preview from a contact saved as gym trainer. The message said, "Can't wait to see you tomorrow. Last night was incredible." My stomach dropped. I knew her gym trainer. Met him once. Didn't think anything of it. I picked up her phone, no passcode because we trust each other. Opened the messages, 6 months of texts. 6 months of them sleeping together, meeting at his place, hotels, even our apartment when I was out of town for work. The messages were explicit, detailed. She'd been lying to my face for half our engagement. I screenshot everything, sent them to my email, put her phone back exactly where it was. When she got out of the shower, I was calm. Weirdly calm. "Hey, we need to talk about the wedding." She smiled. Started talking about seating arrangements or some nonsense. "No, I mean we're not having one. It's off." Her face went blank. "What? The wedding's off. We're done." "Are you serious? What are you talking about?" I pulled out my phone, showed her the screenshots. She went pale. Then red. "You went through my phone? That's your concern right now? You had no right. You've been sleeping with your trainer for 6 months, during our engagement, and I had no right to see messages that popped up on your phone while it was sitting on the counter?" She started crying, the whole performance. "It didn't mean anything. It was a mistake. I love you. We can work through this." "No. Please. We're getting married in 3 weeks. We're not getting married at all. Pack your stuff. You've got until tomorrow to get out." That's when she got mean. "You can't just kick me out. This is my place too. It's my apartment. Your name's not on the lease. You moved in with me. Now you're moving out." She called her parents. They showed up an hour later. Her dad, her mom, her older brother. All of them looking at me like I was the bad guy. Her dad started immediately. "What's this about calling off the wedding? Do you have any idea how much money we've spent? Your daughter's been cheating on me for 6 months. I have proof. The wedding's off." Her mom. "Cheating? That's ridiculous. She would never." I showed them the screenshots. Just a few. Enough to make the point without being graphic. Her dad's face went hard. Looked at his daughter. "Is this true?" She was full on sobbing now. "Daddy, it was a mistake. It didn't mean anything." "How long?" "It doesn't matter." "How long?" 6 months, she whispered. Silence. Her mom looked like she might faint. Her brother just stared. Then her dad turned back to me. "Okay, this is bad. But calling off the wedding 3 weeks out? Do you understand the financial situation you're putting us in?" "The financial situation I'm putting you in?" "We've paid for everything. Deposits are non-refundable. We're out nearly $80,000 because of this. Because of her cheating. Because you're calling it off so late. If you'd found out months ago, we could have canceled with less loss." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "So I should have stayed engaged to your cheating daughter to save you money?" "I'm saying there are consequences to this decision. We're going to have to discuss compensation." "Compensation?" "We made these investments in good faith, based on your promise to marry our daughter. You're breaking that promise." She broke it first. Her mom cut in. "This is all very emotional. Let's not make any rash decisions. Maybe you two can work through this. Go to counseling. Postpone the wedding instead of canceling. I'm not marrying someone who's been lying to me for 6 months." Her dad, "Then we'll need to talk to our lawyer about recovering our costs." "Talk to whoever you want. The wedding's not happening." They left, took her with them. She was still crying, her mom comforting her, her dad looking like he wanted to punch something. I thought that was the end of it. 2 weeks later, I got served with a lawsuit, breach of promise to marry. I didn't even know that was a thing. Apparently, it's still legal in a handful of states. And lucky me, we live in one of them. They were suing me for $85,000, wedding expenses plus emotional damages to their daughter. I called a lawyer same day. Update 1. The lawyer I hired specializes in family law. She looked over the lawsuit, looked at my evidence, and smiled. This is going to be fun. Fun? They're suing you for breach of promise, but your fiancé breached first by cheating. That's a complete defense. Plus, you have documentation. They have nothing. So it'll get dismissed? Eventually, but we'll have to go through the process. They filed in civil court, so there'll be a hearing. Possibly a trial if they're stupid enough to push it that far. Will I have to pay anything? If we win, which we will, you can counterclaim for your legal fees. Make them pay for wasting everyone's time. That made me feel better. But the next few weeks were hell. My ex's family started a campaign, not on social media, nothing that obvious, but through mutual friends, extended family, anyone who'd listen. Their version. I was a cold, heartless person who abandoned their daughter 3 weeks before the wedding over one mistake. She'd had a brief emotional affair, nothing physical, lie, and instead of working through it like an adult, I destroyed months of planning and cost them a fortune. People I'd known for years started looking at me differently. Her cousin, who I thought was a friend, sent me a long text about how disappointed he was in me. How his cousin made a mistake, but I was throwing away 3 years over it. I sent him the screenshots. He stopped responding. Her brother tried a different approach. Showed up at my apartment one night. We need to talk. I don't think that's a good idea. 5 minutes, please. Against my better judgment, I let him in. Didn't sit. Kept the door open. Look, what my sister did was wrong. I'm not defending that, but this lawsuit, it's tearing the family apart. My parents are stressed, she's a mess, and you're just making everything worse by fighting it. I'm making it worse? They only filed because they're desperate. They spent everything on this wedding. They took out loans. If you just agreed to pay back a portion of the expenses, they'd drop the suit. How much is a portion? $40,000, half of what they spent on the wedding itself, not including the emotional damages. $40,000. It's way less than what they're asking for in court, and you'd avoid a trial, legal fees, all of it. Or I go to court, prove your sister cheated, and pay nothing. That's not guaranteed. You don't know how a judge will rule. I have text messages of her cheating for 6 months. I think I have a pretty good idea. You're being stubborn. This could all go away if you just met them halfway. I'm not paying your family $40,000 because your sister couldn't keep it in her pants. Get out. He left, but not before saying, "You're going to regret this." The harassment escalated. Her dad called my parents, told them they raised a son who abandons people when things get hard. My mom called me crying, asking what really happened. I had to explain everything, show her the evidence. She was furious on my behalf, but also upset that I was being dragged through this publicly. Someone left a dead plant on my doorstep with a note, "This is what you did to her future." Classy. My ex started texting me from different numbers. Long rambling messages about how much she loved me, how the affair was a symptom of her feeling neglected, how if I'd just paid more attention to her, none of this would have happened. Classic blame shifting. I forwarded every message to my lawyer. Then the really dirty trick. I got a call from my boss. Someone had filed an anonymous complaint with HR, claiming I'd been misusing company resources. Using work email for personal matters, taking excessive time off for personal issues, creating a hostile work environment by discussing my upcoming lawsuit. All false. My boss knew it was false, but HR had to investigate. I had to sit through meetings, provide email records, explain the lawsuit situation. It was humiliating and clearly designed to screw with my job. HR cleared me after a week, found no evidence of wrongdoing, but the damage was done. Everyone in the office knew I was being sued. Knew about the cheating, knew about all of it. I told my lawyer about everything. The harassment, the dead plant, the HR complaint. Document all of it. Save every text, every message. When we get to court, we're not just defending against their suit, we're going nuclear. What does that mean? It means we're adding a countersuit for harassment and intentional infliction of emotional distress. And we're going to bury them. Update 2. The court hearing was scheduled for a month after I got served. Felt like the longest month of my life. My lawyer prepped me hard. We went over everything. The timeline of the relationship, when I found out about the cheating, how I called off the wedding, what happened with her family. She made me practice staying calm, answering questions directly, not getting emotional. The judge is going to see right through their case, she said, but we need to look like the reasonable party. They're going to try to paint you as vindictive. Don't give them ammunition. The day of the hearing, I wore my best suit, got there early. My lawyer met me outside the courtroom. Ready? Ready. We went in. The courtroom wasn't like TV. Smaller, less dramatic, just a judge's bench, a couple tables, some chairs. My ex's family was already there. Her dad, her mom, her and their lawyer. Some guy in an expensive suit who looked way too confident. She looked terrible. I don't say that to be mean. She genuinely looked like she hadn't slept in weeks. Her mom kept patting her hand. Her dad wouldn't look at me. The judge came in, everyone stood. We sat. It began. Their lawyer went first, presented the case. I'd made a promise to marry his client's daughter. They'd made substantial financial investments based on that promise. 3 weeks before the wedding, I'd called it off with no valid reason, causing significant financial and emotional harm. They were seeking $85,000 in damages. The judge looked skeptical already. No valid reason? What's the defendant's position on this? My lawyer stood. Your Honor, the plaintiff's daughter was engaged in an extramarital affair for 6 months prior to the wedding being called off. My client discovered this affair and reasonably chose not to proceed with the marriage. We have substantial evidence to support this. Their lawyer cut in. Your Honor, the alleged affair is irrelevant to the financial damages. The alleged affair is directly relevant, my lawyer said smoothly. Breach of promise to marry requires that the defendant broke the promise without cause. Infidelity is cause, a substantial cause. The judge nodded. I'll allow evidence of the affair. Present your case, counselor. My lawyer pulled out her laptop. Your Honor, I have text message records between the plaintiff's daughter and her affair partner spanning 6 months. The messages are explicit and clearly indicate an ongoing physical relationship. She'd compiled the screenshots into a presentation, professional, clinical, just enough to prove the affair without being gratuitous. The judge reviewed them on her own screen. Her expression didn't change, but I saw her eyebrows go up a few times. These are authenticated, she asked. Yes, Your Honor. We have the original device logs and metadata. My client discovered these messages on his fiancée's phone and preserved them as evidence. The judge looked at my ex. These messages are from you? She was crying. Again, yes, but were you engaged to the defendant when these were sent? Yes. And you were having a sexual relationship with another man during your engagement? She looked at her lawyer. He nodded. Yes, Your Honor, but I made a mistake. I wanted to work through it. He refused. The question was whether you were having an affair, not whether you wanted to work through it. Thank you. The judge looked at their lawyer. Counselor, your client was engaged in infidelity for 6 months. How exactly is the defendant at fault for calling off the wedding? Your Honor, while my client made an error in judgment, the defendant's response was disproportionate to the situation. Rather than attempting reconciliation or counseling, he immediately terminated the relationship and refused any discussion of the matter. His actions were hasty and caused preventable financial harm. My lawyer stood. Your Honor, my client was under no obligation to attempt reconciliation after discovering a 6-month affair. The breach of trust was fundamental and ongoing. No reasonable person would be expected to proceed with a marriage under these circumstances. The judge nodded. I agree. Counselor, I'm struggling to see how your clients have any case here at all. Your daughter was unfaithful for a significant period. That's not an error in judgment. That's a pattern of deception. Their lawyer tried again. The financial losses are real regardless of fault. My clients expended $85,000 based on a promise that your client's daughter broke first. If anyone breached the promise to marry, it was her. This case has no merit. My ex's dad stood up. Your Honor, if I may, you may not. Sit down. He sat. The judge continued. I'm dismissing this case. The plaintiff's daughter engaged in adultery during the engagement. That constitutes grounds for termination of the marriage promise. The defendant acted reasonably and within his rights. Their lawyer tried one more time. Your Honor, we'd like to request. The case is dismissed. Furthermore, I'm ordering the plaintiffs to pay the defendant's legal fees. You filed a frivolous lawsuit with no legal basis and wasted this court's time. My lawyer smiled. Actually smiled in court. Thank you, Your Honor. We estimate fees at approximately $8,500. The judge nodded. The plaintiffs will pay the defendant's legal fees in full within 30 days. If there's any further harassment of the defendant by the plaintiffs or their family members, he's within his rights to file for a restraining order. Am I clear? My ex's family looked like they'd been slapped. Her mom was white. Her dad was red. My ex was sobbing into her hands. Yes, Your Honor, their lawyer mumbled. This hearing is concluded. The judge left. I sat there for a second, not quite believing it was over. My lawyer packed up her laptop. Well, that went well. That's it? It's done? It's done. They'll pay your fees. Case closed. And if they're smart, they'll leave you alone from here on out. I looked over at my ex's family. They were huddled together, her dad talking angrily to their lawyer. My ex was still crying. Her mom looked devastated. Part of me felt bad. Very small part. They'd just lost $85,000 in wedding expenses, plus my legal fees. That's a lot of money. But then I remembered them suing me, trying to make me pay for their daughter's mistakes, the harassment, the HR complaint, the dead plant, all of it. That small part got smaller. We left the courtroom. Outside, my lawyer shook my hand. Congratulations, you're officially free and clear. Thank you for everything. Thank you for having such good evidence, made my job easy, she smiled. Word of advice? Block all of them. Don't engage. Don't respond to anything. If they contact you again, you call me immediately and we file for restraining orders. Will do. I went home, opened a beer, sat on my couch and just breathed. It was over. Final update. It's been a few months since the hearing. Figured I'd give a final update since people kept messaging asking what happened. My ex's family paid the legal fees. Took them the full 30 days, but they paid. My lawyer confirmed receipt. That was the last official contact. The unofficial contact was more interesting. A week after the hearing, I got a call from my ex's brother again. Different tone this time. Apologetic. Hey, I know you probably don't want to hear from me. You're right, I just wanted to say I'm sorry. For all of it. The lawsuit was insane. I told them not to do it, but they wouldn't listen. Okay. My sister, she's not doing well. She's back living with my parents. Lost her job because she couldn't handle showing up. The guy she was cheating with dropped her immediately once everything came out. I'm hanging up now. Wait, I'm not asking you to care or feel bad for her. I'm just saying, you were right. About all of it, and I'm sorry we put you through that. Thanks, I guess. I hung up. Didn't hear from him again. My ex tried reaching out once. Long email about how she'd been going to therapy, working on herself, understanding why she self-sabotaged our relationship. How she didn't expect me to forgive her but wanted me to know she was truly sorry. I didn't respond. Deleted it. The extended family stuff was harder. Mutual friends mostly stayed neutral, but a few picked sides. Lost some people I thought were friends. Gained clarity about who actually had my back. My parents were great through all of it. My dad took me out for drinks after the hearing, didn't say much, just sat with me. My mom sent care packages with food and stupid notes. Appreciated it more than they know. Started dating again recently. Nothing serious, just getting back out there. Told the new person about all this on the third date. Figured she should know what she was getting into. She listened, asked questions, and then said, "So you're single because you didn't want to marry a cheater and her family sued you for it? That's the most reasonable thing I've ever heard. We've been seeing each other for a month now. Taking it slow. Work calmed down. HR thing became old news pretty fast. People moved on to other gossip. My boss actually gave me a raise at my annual review. Said he was impressed with how I handled a difficult personal situation with professionalism. So that worked out. The wedding venue refunded a small portion of the deposit to my ex's parents. Something about hardship circumstances. Doubt it was much, but at least they got something back. Their choice to sue me, Definitely didn't help their financial situation, though. My ex's dad apparently had to take out another loan to cover everything. Heard that through the grapevine. Feel bad about it for maybe 2 seconds, then remember he chose to sue me instead of holding his daughter accountable. Some people asked if I regret how things went down. If I should have just paid them something to make it go away. Hell no. They tried to bully me into paying for their daughter's mistakes, tried to use the legal system to punish me for her cheating. They made a calculated decision, and it blew up in their faces. The money they lost was always going to be lost once she cheated. Those deposits were gone either way. But instead of accepting that and dealing with it, they decided I should pay. They decided I was responsible for the consequences of her actions. They were wrong. The judge agreed they were wrong, and now they're out even more money because they made a stupid, entitled decision. Do I feel vindicated? Yeah, absolutely. Do I think about my ex? Sometimes. Wonder what she's doing, if she learned anything. Mostly don't care, though. The whole experience taught me a lot about boundaries, about not tolerating disrespect, about standing up for yourself even when people tell you you're being unreasonable. Her family thought they could intimidate me into paying, thought I'd fold rather than fight. They miscalculated badly. Someone asked me in a message if I think she really loved me. Honestly, maybe she did in her own way. But love without respect, without honesty, without basic faithfulness, isn't worth anything. She loved me enough to want to marry me, but not enough to not cheat on me for 6 months. That's not love. That's just wanting the benefits of a relationship without the responsibilities. And her family loved their money more than they loved accountability. They were fine with their daughter cheating. That wasn't the problem. The problem was losing money over it. Says everything you need to know about their values. I'm doing fine. Better than fine, actually. Got my own place, good job, new relationship starting, family that supports me, don't have a cheating fiancé or a lawsuit hanging over my head. Turns out that's a pretty good place to be. To everyone who sent supportive messages, thanks. To the few who said I should have just paid them to avoid court, respectfully, you're wrong. Standing up for yourself isn't vindictive, it's self-respect. And to anyone going through something similar, document everything. Get a lawyer. Don't let people bully you into accepting blame for things you didn't do. Oh, and pro tip, if your fiancé cheats on you 6 months before the wedding, just call it off. Don't worry about the deposits. Don't worry about what people will think. The money's already wasted. The relationship's already dead. Just walk away. And if anyone tries to sue you for it, get yourself a good lawyer and watch their case fall apart. That's all from me. Thanks for following this mess. Time to move on with my life.